What is up, guys? So today we're going to talk about how you can make your first $10,000 online. Now, as a former brokey, I was not born with money. I was not born with many connections. I kind of had to literally build everything from the ground up. My parents were smart enough to at least get me to the United States of America, but other than that, it was pretty ground zero. It was like, yeah, not much was going on money-wise in my life.
Tú eres agua y yo con sed. Sácame del desierto. Un fuego que quema mi piel. Pero te vas con el viento.
If you're in the same boat where you don't really come from money, you don't really have these money connections, $10,000 might seem like a lot to you. Now, the negative, that's not a lot. The positive, if you can make that, it's a great start to get you to the next levels, right? All the online e-com guru bros will flex their Lamborghinis, they'll flex their watches, they'll flex their apartments. But truth be told, maybe you just want to have a nice side hustle. Maybe you just want to be a little bit less stressed. Maybe you don't want to think about, hey, can I eat this at a restaurant? Can I buy this shirt? Can I drive this car? Like maybe you just want something to make your life better, okay? Now, if you think about just these materialistic things, I'll be honest with you, so did I. I just wanted nice cars. I wanted to be free. I wanted to do whatever the fuck I want, okay? But when you get into the thick of it, you realize that it's a long-term game. If you actually want to build a business, a brand, whether it's online or not, it doesn't really matter. You're in it for the long run. It's just not as easy as it used to be to do it without banks, debt, investors, collaborations, whatever it may be. Like think of it this way, back in the 1950s, right after World War II, right? Think of how many people got rich just by living a normal life and holding their home, right? Like these days, I mean, boomers bought homes for like pennies on the dollar and now they're worth millions of dollars. So the way of getting wealthy is a little bit different these days than it used to be. Online businesses are a new thing, right? It's just the way of getting to that wealth is gonna be much different than just living your life, sitting on your ass and waiting until something hopefully appreciates like their houses did, right? So anyway, the first $10,000, it will not be that hard. But how do you physically literally start, okay? So for me, I was a little lucky because I found an influencer that just made me a shit ton of sales, right? So I created the gummies. I had an influencer. He made a shit ton of sales. That kind of like got us out there and it just kept on scaling and scaling and scaling. As I mentioned in my previous video, which you can watch, I'll put the link in the description. We made almost $1 million and it still failed with gummies. So it's a little bit more than $10,000 a month, but the ideas will be the same. And actually you might be better off making $10,000 first a month for a while before you start hitting $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a month because it's just more manageable, especially if you're new with business. But anyway, how do you physically start? Okay, number one, let's say you're completely new to this. You don't know how to do anything, right? Learn how to make a nice Shopify store, okay? So now, even now, 6 or 7 years later after I started everything, it's way easier. Now Shopify has these brand new templates. That's 2.0. All the apps are so much easier to install. Like it's way easier to build a custom website that looks really clean, loads fast, and just works perfectly. So number one, make a sick website for whatever industry you decide to go into. Moving on to the next thing, industry. Try to find something that gives you recurring revenue. Now that could be digital products, could be supplements, although please don't do supplements, don't compete with me, please. Whatever, do whatever you want, world's big. Skincare, consumables, anything that's CPG with a recurring revenue, I would say that's way better than like a one-time purchase, you know, like a physical product that lasts for years. Just because it's really expensive to acquire customers these days. So if you don't have recurring revenue, the chances of you being profitable on a first-time order that's lower volume in price, yeah, it's a no-go, rough. But if it's recurring, let's say you're not profitable in the first order, then on the second, third, and fourth order, you're profitable, right? So recurring revenue is a must, in my opinion, for online businesses. Number three, I would say to start out, do everything yourself so you learn how to do it, so you know how to lead once you start hiring people. And to get to $10,000 a month, you should be able to do it just yourself. Couple influencers, couple affiliates, some Facebook ads, some Meta ads, learn the concept of email and SMS marketing, collect data. Just basically do everything yourself until you get to that 10G a month volume. And then you can start to look to hire people. You can start with overseas talent, which I'll be honest with you, talent is a little too generous for them. You know, if you pay someone $5 to $10 an hour, the work is gonna be worth $5 to $10 an hour. Like, they'll push the buttons, do the boring stuff, but they're not gonna give it their all. So it's an okay way to start with overseas employees, but once you start getting to 20, 30, 40, 50 grand a month, definitely look for someone here, someone maybe you can work with directly, you know, an English native speaker, just because communicating with these influencers takes a little bit of effort. Not all of them are easy people. So definitely, once you start scaling, just keep that in mind. You're gonna have to expand. When it comes to marketing, don't burn your money on ads right away. I would say seeding your product is probably the best way to go. I would say start the ads on a low budget, seed your product, and as you get more impressions, clicks, purchases, start upping the budget, right? And then basically, once you have a lot of data, then the ads kind of like scale themselves. As long as you have good creative, you're gonna need to switch out that creative every month. But it's important that you have it all set up, you have the pixels collecting data, and you have basically a history being built up so that as you scale, it becomes easier and cheaper, right? I would say the earlier you can start working with a bank, the better. Now, obviously Chase is probably like the best bank to work with for a startup because they'll give you, as long as you have like all your, you know, credit scores and some sort of income level in check, they'll give you a nice help with a 0% interest credit card. So if you're thinking like, okay, everything else sounds great, I'll figure out my Shopify store, I'll do a recurring revenue industry, I'll seed influencers, run some ads, but I don't have money, so what do I do? Chase, 0% interest card. As long as you have an income, they'll give you something. And then obviously as you grow, you can scale that. And then just work with them, and once you get past like the credit card funding level, then you know you find other banks that work with small businesses to just take on bigger amounts of smart debt to scale your business. But it's, you know, going to take a minute until you get to that level. So in the first 1 to 2 years, just focus on creating a smooth operation, make it very lean and mean, get to that $10,000 a month level consistently, right? And once you're there, then you can start scaling, you know, 15, 20. There might be jumps when there's seasons like Black Friday and New Year and spring and end of summer, whatever, right? So just figure out how to make your business consistent. That was one of the big issues with me. Like the first month we made like 2,000, and the next month we made 10,000 with my first brand, and then the third month we made 50,000. And when that happens, it creates a lot of panic when you scale pretty fast, because then you got to buy more inventory. You feel like you can spend more on marketing. And if you do, that really fucks up your cash flow. I went into details on why my first $1 million brand failed. Once again, it's going to be in the description if you want to watch that. So I would say slow and steady wins the race. The world is very big. Don't feel pressure from people that are raising money. Don't feel pressure from brands that look like they're killing it. Because how big the world is, there's millions of people that have never heard of your competitors that will try your product or brand if you do your marketing the right way. And I think at the end of the day, just make sure you have a good product, right? Don't cut corners on the product, because it's very easy to get a certain revenue through marketing, but to have that loyalty and people coming back to you, you gotta have a good product or service. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you are over $10,000 a month and you're looking for a little extra help, a little boost, check out my agency below, We Grow Thrive. We work with clients of all sizes. I do prefer if you have figured out the basics yourself, because it's really fucking annoying when someone comes in with an ego and they don't know shit. I've worked with companies that have raised money, which honestly, if the founder never did anything online, it's just as bad. So I like the people in the middle that like are doing something themselves and they're not dicks. So if that sounds like you, reach out. Maybe we'll work together. But anyway, guys, if you have any questions, please drop them below. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.